There's one island that has like this crazy hole in the ground that was made by pirates. There's a television show about it. You know what I'm talking about?
The Curse of Oak Island.
And they have some crazy hole in the ground that they're trying to figure out how to get into, but there's all these weird little
booby traps and like all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, there's some sort of a method that they've devised where if you go deep enough, it just fills up with water.
Oak Island, a mysterious spot known for treasure hunting stories, has fascinated the imaginations of scientists and archaeologists for centuries. For ages, tales have been spun of hidden riches, complex puzzles, and of many treasures whose location remains hidden. Interestingly, Joe Rogan, a name not typically associated with treasure hunts, has made a shocking discovery at Oak Island, one that promises to unravel the secrets of this mysterious location. But can this revelation become the most groundbreaking discovery yet at Oak Island? Or does it merely deepen the mystique that surrounds it? Stick around as we unravel the surprising truth that Joe Rogan just revealed about Oak Island. The lost fortune of Oak Island. On the southern edges of Nova Scotia, Canada, you'll find the fascinating Oak Island. It's this beautiful, privately owned piece of land surrounded by the clear blue waters of Mahone Bay. You can reach it by a narrow road that connects this green paradise to the mainland, and the nearby rural town of Western Shore gets a great view of it from the closest shoreline. But Oak Island isn't your typical island. It's filled with secrets and mysteries that make it intriguing. Popular podcast host Joe Rogan has recently revealed an incredible discovery related to Oak Island, and it's expected to change the current story significantly. You see, for over 200 years, people have been intrigued by this legend about a hidden treasure buried deep in the island's grounds. And get this, it's not just any treasure. It's said to hold a bunch of valuable stuff once owned by famous people like Marie Antoinette, religious figures, and even Shakespeare. There's more. Rumor has it that this treasure belonged to the notorious Captain Kidd. But here's the catch. Finding it isn't a walk in the park. The journey to uncover its secrets is full of danger. The island is like a puzzle with hidden surprises and dangerous traps, making it tough to get to the treasure. People who've tried have faced deadly traps and unexpected problems, showing how risky and uncertain this whole quest can be. Over the years, brave adventurers didn't just risk their wealth, they put their lives on the line in the quest for this mysterious treasure. Each try to uncover its secrets was a dangerous journey, filled not just with physical risks hidden within the island, but also the mental strain of chasing a prize that always felt just out of reach. The story of Oak Island goes way back to 1796. It all started when a curious kid named Daniel McGinnis stumbled upon a strange circular hole on the island. Intrigued by tales of hidden riches, Daniel and his pals began to dig, kicking off an exciting mystery. After some digging, they found a layer of flagstone just 2 feet down. This discovery pumped them up to keep going. But here's where things got interesting. As they dug deeper, they found signs that someone had dug this pit ages ago. They spotted marks left by old tools like picks and shovels, hinting that this pit wasn't new. This discovery led to a big question. Who could have dug such a deep hole on this small, remote island way back when? The thinking was that someone, for reasons nobody knew, wanted to hide something really valuable at the bottom of that pit. And that's when the hunt for Captain Kidd's tricky treasure began, a search that would keep treasure hunters hooked for ages. The first bunch of diggers didn't give up easily, though. They kept at it, digging a massive hole that went down 10 meters deep, like the height of a 3-story building. But despite all their hard work, the treasure they were after stayed hidden, still buried beneath the ground. Sadly, they had some problems. They didn't have enough time, tools, or people to keep going. So they had to give up on their huge dig, leaving behind a big hole that later got named the Money Pit. 10 whole years passed before another group of folks stepped in to continue what Daniel and his buddies had started on Oak Island. By then, the story of the Money Pit had spread everywhere, drawing treasure hunters from all over the world. When these new folks arrived, it brought fresh hope. They were determined to unearth the secrets hidden beneath Oak Island's soil once and for all. However, this is where it becomes more intriguing. The Onslow Company's perilous descent into Oak Island's secrets. The Oak Island story kept getting more captivating when the Onslow Company arrived in 1806. These folks came equipped with all sorts of tools to dig deeper into the mystery. During their excavation, they found some really weird stuff in layers, like oak logs every 10 feet, followed by putty, charcoal, and even coconut fiber. It seemed like someone had gone through a lot of trouble to hide or protect whatever was buried there, hinting that something valuable might be hidden. Their hard work paid off when they hit something solid. They found a stone tablet with writing on it, an exciting find that promised to reveal some secrets. But things took a crazy turn. As soon as they unearthed the tablet, water started pouring into the tunnel out of nowhere. It flooded the place, and despite their brave attempts to stop it, the Onslow Company couldn't figure out why this sudden flood happened. It left them baffled and unable to understand what caused the water to rush in like that. The Onslow Company faced a tough challenge with the flooding that happened during high tides. Eventually, they had to accept that it was just too hard to keep going against all that water. Even though they didn't find any actual treasure, that stone tablet they uncovered was a big deal. It led them to stop their efforts not long after they left the island. After the tablet was found, a professor from Halifax decoded its writing. It gave a pretty exciting clue about where the treasure might be, 40 feet below, 2,000 pounds buried. But even with this clue, the mystery of Oak Island's treasure remained tricky and complicated. Stories were told that there was a spooky prediction tied to finding the treasure, saying that 7 lives had to be lost before the treasure would show itself. Sadly, 6 people had already died in the relentless hunt for this hard-to-find treasure, making the ongoing search feel pretty eerie and full of mystery. Despite a lot of doubts surrounding this spooky legend, it didn't stop treasure hunters from going after it. Loads of ideas came up about what could be hidden on Oak Island. Some people thought there might be lost writings or riches that belonged to famous writers like Shakespeare or Francis Bacon. Others believed that during the chaos of the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette might have hidden her treasures there. If both of these stories were true, the treasure could be worth a huge amount, like a king's ransom. And it gets even more exciting. Stories from sailors hinted that famous pirates like Captain Kidd or Captain Blackbeard might have had something to do with creating this treasure. Plus, this theory from the Freemasons says that the weird symbols on the island might point to a treasure connected to their secret group. That's not all. The unyielding curse. Back in 1849, a bunch of eager folks from Toronto got all fired up to find the hidden treasure on Oak Island. They were excited to dig up the secrets hiding deep within the island. You know, lots of people before them had tried to find this treasure, but it was like a big puzzle that nobody could solve for 50 whole years. When these smart Toronto folks started digging, they ran into a problem that others had faced before. Water kept flooding their holes. But hey, they noticed something special about this water. It tasted a bit salty, like the sea, and it went up and down with the tides. That was a big deal. It helped them understand the mystery of the money pit better. After a bunch of searching, they found a little passage that seemed to go underground, a clue that hinted where the treasure might be. Exciting, right? But things got tough. They faced tricky obstacles and unexpected challenges that made the hunt even harder. Even though they worked hard, those sneaky traps with flooding systems stopped them from reaching the treasure. They knew it was down there, but they couldn't get through the tricky defenses to grab it. Sadly, after trying lots of ways to reach the treasure, they had to give up. For over 170 years, loads of brave people went to Oak Island hoping to find that treasure, but nobody could beat the traps. Some folks even talked about a spooky curse that seemed to mess with anyone trying to find the treasure. They tried fancy gadgets like steam pumps and divers, but floods always got in the way. Even a group with really good gear and divers couldn't beat this mysterious curse. It was like the island didn't want anyone to find its secrets. Celebrity backers and royal whispers. The story of Oak Island is a treasure hunt that has attracted a lot of famous people over time. Back in the day, even future U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was into it. Hollywood stars like Errol Flynn and John Wayne also supported expeditions looking for treasure there, adding some glamour to the whole thing. In the 1930s, it got even more interesting. There were rumors that 2 treasure hunters were supposed to tell King George VI of England directly if they found anything valuable. But despite all these big names and many attempts over centuries, no one has found the hidden treasures of Oak Island. It's like they're protected by traps and obstacles that nobody can figure out. Joe Rogan, who hosts a really popular podcast, recently talked about Oak Island. He pointed out how people spent a lot of money trying to find the treasure and sometimes even got hurt or died because of traps. He thinks the people who hid the treasure were clever and made it nearly impossible to get to. But here's the interesting part Joe brought up. Maybe, just maybe, the plan to protect the treasure isn't perfect. He highlighted how the treasure's value caused the island to change hands a lot throughout history. It's a bit strange, right? The mystery of Oak Island has caught so much attention that there's a show about it on the History Channel called The Curse of Oak Island. The show follows these brothers, the Laginas, who've been searching for the treasure since 1965. It's wild how this treasure hunt has fascinated so many people for such a long time. The Lagina brothers' tale on Oak Island's trail. Rick Lagina's journey into the mysterious depths of Oak Island began, innocently enough, with an article he read in Reader's Digest. This simple start ignited a lifelong quest, driven by his fascination with hidden treasures, a journey he embarked on alongside his brother, spurred by their youthful dreams and an unending curiosity. Rick's passion for unraveling mysteries started at a young age. When he was just 10 years old, he led a treasure hunt beneath a huge boulder, sparking a deep passion that would define his life's purpose. Even though they didn't find anything that day, the excitement of the hunt solidified Rick's belief. He was meant to be a treasure hunter. During their exploration on Oak Island, the Lagina brothers have unearthed a diverse array of fascinating items, spanning from bone fragments, swages, and a jeweled brooch to ancient manuscripts, coins, and military gear. However, the treasure linked to Captain Kidd, which is said to be hidden there, remains elusive, and many people doubt if it even exists. The story ingrained in Oak Island has attracted many treasure hunters before the Lagina brothers, and all of them have come away empty-handed. Even Joe Rogan has wondered about the strange situation where a well-prepared team across 10 seasons hasn't found this legendary treasure. It raises a big question. Could this treasure just be a made-up story? Though we can't completely rule out its existence, the lack of solid proof makes people doubt if it's real. Still, the ongoing search has made the whole thing even more mysterious, drawing in famous people and making the story even more puzzling. If it turns out that the treasure was never real, it would be history's biggest joke. A story that led to countless searches, leaving behind a legacy of people fascinated by a treasure that might have never been there in the first place. Share your thoughts and opinions about the treasure hunt on Oak Island in the comments section.